Hello, and warmest regard to you all in your separate weathers, geographies, and times. I'm Jeffrey Pethybridge, one of the editors of the digital zine Visible Binary, and with Carolina Abaid, will be the host and curator of the session as part of the global reading for freedom of expression and solidarity with Palestine and Sudan and all fronts against oppression. A reading against the ongoing disaster of Palestinian displacement, dispossession, and death. Against the genocide in Gaza and the catastrophe of US imperialism, reset the small voice of poetry. And there always seems like a utopian hope to me in that radical contrast. Thank you all for joining this third reading, which holds the hope for a real ceasefire, for the end of occupation and apartheid, a reading with the hope of a free Palestine, a free and precious life from the river to the sea. Deep and abiding gratitude to Ghazal and Munir for summoning again this constellation of solidarity, which in this third iteration continues to proliferate with languages, opening more and more the cultural front for a free Palestine and a world without genocide. And to Vince and team for the production, bringing it to a fulfillment. And thanks to all the other hosts and curators and writers and artists for this astonishing range of poetry we've heard today and will continue to follow the sun. Coming now will be a series of recorded readings and video poems. First, we'll see A Vocation That Had No Name, a video poem by Rochelle Rahim, based upon a text by the late, great Fanny Howe, Memory Eternal. Next, we'll see a video poem by Annalise Gelman entitled Oranges. Then a series of alternating video poems by Fargo Nisum Tabiki and Carolina Abaid. Fargo's poems come from an ongoing work entitled Palestine is a Futurism. Carolina Abaid's video, The Human Is a study and refraction of poems from her book Hide. Lastly, Tongo Eisen Martin recites his poem Blood in My Eye while walking the streets of Boston. But first, I'll read a brief excerpt from a poem of mine entitled Book 10, Essay in Emergent Night, which I hope will serve as something as an epigraph for this section. How, Kristeva asks, can the truth of pain be spoken when the available rhetorics of literature and even everyday speech somehow always seem festive? Only by subverting this festive rhetoric, she writes, by distorting it, by rendering it awkward, clumsy, broken, strained, making it great, abstracted, intense, abject, monstrous. Only then might the censoring blank of pain itself be overcome. Flickering, firelit red, gold, gold, mirror bronze, through and against emergent night. And now, video poems.
Since early adolescence, I've wanted to live the life of a poet. What this means? Since early adolescence, I've wanted to live the life of a poet. What this meant to me was a life outside the law. It would include disobedience and uprootedness. I would be at liberty to observe, drift, read, travel, take notes, converse with friends, and struggle with form. of self-expression that only I could solve. This required boundless time, no obligations, lots of conversation, and love, little money, little stability, but always freedom to play with sound and meaning. I was surrounded by poetry at home, so this should have been easy, but another atmosphere undermined its powers. Since early adolescence, I have wanted to live the life of a poet. What this meant to me was a life outside the law. It would include disobedience and uprootedness. I would be at liberty to observe, drift, read, travel, take notes, converse with friends, and struggle with form. Struggling with form meant creating problems of self-expression that only I could solve. This required boundless time, no obligations, lots of conversation and love, little money, little stability, but always freedom to play with sound and meaning. I was surrounded by poetry at home, so this should have been easy, but another atmosphere undermined its powers. Like the rest of my generation, I was catapulted into a double bind. On the one hand, each of us was valued, treated to an education in humanist values, and nourished for a long life. On the other hand, we were told to hide under our desks during nuclear bomb alerts, and to wait there in the knowledge that we were as disposable as pieces of tissue paper that could be blown away like ashes. Now the millennium has come and gone, and I am in a hermitage facing a snow field, line of gray trees at the end. The sky has the wintry golden blush that makes it seem like it's swelling like water. I hear cars and trucks in the distance. Over the years I have written during days just like these, when there was snow or cold and some sense of safety and enclosure. More often I have written on the road, in the middle of children, crowds at train stations, airports, motels, bus depots, in offices and schoolyards. A friend wrote down some words for me shortly before he died. Poetry is backwards logic. You can't write poetry unless you have knowledge of or taste for this backwards way of finding truth. Another person said sound is eternal. It has no beginning. And a Hindu teacher said to me, the Upanishads were never written for the first time. I'm always wondering at the way there are varieties of points of view, just as there are different names, the same things and concepts. This collection of notes and memories is an effort to resolve the question, what was this strange preoccupation that seemed to have no motive, cause, or final goal, and precede all the writing that I've done and did? Did it begin in the environment of childhood, or was it formed out of alien properties later? If I had known what I was doing all along, would I have done it? What people, places, books, and things guided me? What could I call that was calling me? A vocation that has no name.
am served memory for breakfast. Inside the dream, I shall have to unlearn the bitterness of the war-hungry capitalist life. The empty meanings of the lobbying firm. The language that turns me cruel and useful. In the dream, I am required only by my lovers. Never the extractive drills of the oil eaters. I have been unmade by the dream of God. I have been released from meaning. The sun burns new meaning onto my skin. I am crisp with newness. The dream vomits up the sludge of abandonment, swimming in the sludge is a McKinsey consultant. Swimming in the sludge is Arthur Balfour. They drown. I am the love of the dream embodied. I willingly dissolve my bitter attachments. The dream is a futurism of the spirit. The spirit is an orality. The sludge is a State Department. My memory returns me to the great earth dream. Palestine is a dream of the future. Future is a Palestine of the
The human is the talking animal. The human is the thinking animal. The human is the walking upright animal. The human is the burying animal.
Is worth 1,000 years. If you want to be brutal, consider your hands. Within my pockmarks I find elevator disguise. Don't look for lovers, let them look for you. The sweetness of spiders, yes. Never a caged person within our sight. Ontology is less than vibes. Armpit is less than nation. Someone sleeps with sand tonight. Let's hope the sea gets hungry. Apocalypse is only perfume for the bankers. Cruelty is a saltless meal. Your beauty turns me into rubble. Your rubble turns me into beauty. Your turns me beauty. Rubble into rubble. Beauty turns me into. Let's hope the sea devours us and feels full, feels full, feels full.
Guided by teeth goes this country. There's a cow's mouth on the flag. A peculiar notepad holds street life dear, but the writer's not here. He's somewhere talking to tombstones about the good old days, or splashing reborn water on his latest face. or wondering how Zoe Gunn is doing in the afterlife, wondering how much death trap is in those gas station aisles. It got to be $1 million a day on this concrete island. New engine in the moon where it never goes down. I mean, 72 straight hours of night, at least according to everyone's posture around here. 8:30 in the morning is really 30 minutes of closing. The city shuts down for a sleepy rat race. Elevator shoe shuffle to the nearest heaven. Laugh for rats the whole way up. It's scabs everywhere. In puddles of city. In concentrated schools and TV lit warm rooms, the light reveals military fatigue when it hits just right on the ties that are wrapped around the necks of lazy white guys. Empire is too easy, baby. Chat at the walls on some if you feel like it. Let's wait for a target to move and shooting back. Running for a tree line made of freeways. Wisdom says against a war machine on Tuesday, you stand no chance. But may we be the last poor people to play it safe. Cow's mouth on the flag. A politician raises his hand and the crowd shows their teeth. An oligarch raises his hand, little kids are not safe outside. We all hide, depressed, and comrades and function. 15 minutes of closing, the city has survived another black rebellion. We just paying dues by trash fires, not just anybody can set. And don't you love how deadly things whisper in the moment and people kill like feathers fall with everybody screaming inside? The writer knows that death is not a matter of dignity, rather humor. In the house it smells like roast races. Nuclear percentages on torn stoves. I mean, here life never was. Just lazy matches, manic inhumanity, hands rushing away from life towards those. What we doing here? Surviving. For no reason in particular, because nobody going far today. Nobody go far tomorrow. Trust me, hell and heaven cannot count. Shit, strange gardens with secondhand clothes play. And concrete wishes to be human so that it could be accountable. Where they find you drenched. And drains wish to be human so that they could be worthy arms for you to die in. Hey, greet them all, grandson. Prepare for the day when every child is common. Don't say we ghosts didn't write you a poem. Don't say we didn't dig your life. Remember the shotgun by the coat rack that everybody in the house knows how to use? Remember the tightrope made of needles for walking in between driveways and man-made best friends? Go ahead, grandson, tune the street again. Never mind, this country kills musicians first. Broken neck night, scar neck life. If these walls could write lyrics, they say, what's your angle, angel eyes? 30, 50 rounds passed by on the street with no daughters. This street has no sons. It's young prisoners of war in a racist city that needs to make capital, and we know so much. We know it all. We were stood against walls. Who's on the third cross around here? Cow's mouth. Salivating over the street. And that is the story of why we aim at teeth. As children are charming and brilliant before they are murdered, and God dies there too, running among them, every poet belongs in Gaza. Capitalists eat until the world is blurry to them. These streets are made of saliva, and some people made of saliva too. They usually got on uniforms. While a crazy man spins round and round trying to make a record out of this mass production jungle, maybe I'll join him. Count cash and cry. These streets are made of saliva, and white sheets are worn by a building in which kids are supposed to learn how to read well. White sheets on the highway too. Another mirror needs their head on a pike. One down is just one down. But you know, you tell all this to the masses and your teacher will pipeline you. They told me I was jewelry. They told me this was jungle. Well, maybe not jungle, more like 50 machine guns planted in the ground. It's raining faces again in California. What does it say about heaven? What does it say about the people you killed? Waiting lines got so exhausted, 1 million minds dropped all these faces at once. If the fascists can read the lips of a giant talking in his sleep, we might as well make our demands in prison letters. Today was born the most important trigger finger in the world. Today I've begun counting down the pages between now and a pile of books by a tunnel Chicago's gonna walk out of Chicago one day. Babies that drag street signs like old toys. Today the most important letter left prison. Babies are laughing flags like faces that have disappeared. Maybe I'll join them. But for now, these streets are made of saliva, and we raise half-full glasses to the basements that meant nothing, and the working poor who live there, and we get shot. We get white sheets on California, where the kitchen table likes to talk as much as the walls, and romance on the porch consists of hard residing. I mean, this picture characters talk spit and know that they hard to kill. The kitchen table knows this. The porch is almost convinced that one down is just one down. This town is coming to town. A circus watching itself. Half distracted, half suicidal, thrilled children dressed as cops. Still children preaching and policing and intaking and hiring and snatching your money. This town's coming to town with tough trademarks to follow. Today, I watch capitalism walk on water and people play dead so that they could be part of a miracle. Free Palestine, y'all.
Jeff, you're muted at the moment.
Thank you all for being here and for witnessing and listening to those poems. Thanks again to Vince and team and to Ghazal and Munir. And I hope that you enjoy and deepen with the rest of the reading as it continues. Thank you.